I did not feel like going to all the trouble of putting on makeup today, so it feels very weird to be filming like this, but this is what we're working with today, so here we go. Hello everybody, my name is Kara, and today I'm here with the IndigAthon book tag. So this is a tag created by the creators and hosts of the IndigAthon readathon that is happening this year again. Those are Brody from Et2Brody and Michelle from Thor Wants Another Letter. I will of course link both of them down below, as well as their original tag videos. And the point of this tag is to celebrate and uplift some wonderful books by Native authors. So every book that you mention has to be by a Native author. They do not have to be Indigenous to the United States. They can be from all over the world, and I'm really excited. Let's get into the questions. Number one is, what is your favorite Native authored book? So I picked two. I picked a fiction and a nonfiction pick, and my fiction one is actually one I just recently finished, and that is Alatsoe by Darcy Little Badger. This is a new release this year, and I just absolutely loved it. Our main character is Ellie, or Alatsoe, and her cousin has been murdered. This is kind of an alternate version of the United States, in which creatures and beings from Native American folklore they exist and everyone knows about them, and there are also ghosts in this world, and Alatsoe has an ability relating to ghosts, and she has a dream about who the killer of her cousin is, and so the book is about her trying to bring him to justice with the help of some of her friends and family, and I just love this. I thought the writing was really smooth, really engaging to read. I really loved Ellie as a main character. I just thought the characters in general and their relationships were really well developed, and I really liked the kind of spooky or creepy elements of this book. I loved the way that Darcy Little Badger used those elements for social commentary. It's one of the things I loved about Mexican Gothic. I just think it's really, really cool when authors can take like scary or spooky or creepy elements and use them to point to scary things about the real world. I just really loved this. You'll hear more about it in my wrap-up, but definitely one of my new favorite books by a Native author. And then my nonfiction pick is another one I finished recently, and that is Breeding Sweetgrass by Wallkimmer, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants. So this is a nonfiction book about Dr. Kimmerer's Indigenous spirituality and how that intersects with her scientific training, and how those worldviews are not mutually exclusive and they can actually enhance each other and kind of fill in the gaps for each other. I just thought this was beautifully written, such an important book. I just thought all of the elements of it were blended together so well. Robin Kimmerer's life and the way she talked about Indigenous spirituality and her own worldview, and also about the science behind the natural world. I just think all of those elements were done so well, and I just think this is a really important book, and it points to how there has been Indigenous knowledge about plants and about the natural world for literally thousands of years, and that science has not really been taking those things seriously. So yeah, just a really, really excellent book. Highly recommend. Number two is, which Indigenous book do you find yourself recommending most often? And I think for me that is definitely I Can Make This Promise by Christine Day. This is a middle grade book, and we follow our main character Edie, and she's Native American and her mother is as well, but her mother was adopted by a white family, so she doesn't really know, Edie doesn't really know a lot about her mother's family or her background or anything. And then one day she's in the attic and she finds a picture of a woman who looks exactly like Edie, and this kind of sets her off on kind of figuring out these family secrets about why her parents have kept things from her, learning more about her own family and background and culture, and this is just such a powerful book. I also think it's a great example of when middle grade books can show these really, really heavy topics, and also show kids going through like quote-unquote smaller issues. Like Edie is also going through a really difficult friendship fight or breakup, and that is portrayed as being something that is also really upsetting for her and really affecting her. Like I never felt like the book was downplaying the other things she was going through in favor of pointing to this really important topic. I think they were both given the attention they deserved, and I just think this is such a powerful story. It is one that deals with generational trauma and just some really, really dark things, but I do think there is an element of hope and about the importance of healing and about the way that knowledge can bring healing, or at least can start that process. And yeah, I have recommended this one several times. Definitely check it out if you haven't, if you can handle the subject material. Number three, what is a book you picked up because of someone else's recommendation? And I'm actually going to go back to one I talked about, which is Breeding Sweetgrass. I saw Caitlin Curtis recommend this book in a Twitter thread. Caitlin Curtis, by the way, I have also read a book from her that I really enjoyed, which was Glory Happening, and I also really want to get to her book called Native, which is about decolonizing Christianity. I own that one and I'm very much looking forward to getting to that. But she was talking about sources that she really recommended, and Braiding Sweetgrass was on that list, and that's how I heard about it, and I obviously loved it. I'll also link Caitlin Curtis's Twitter down below. She's just a wonderful person to follow, so definitely recommend checking her out as well. And yeah, I'm so glad that she recommended this book. Number 4, what is the most recent book by a Native author that you have read? And for me, that is Fry Bread, a Native American family story by Kevin Noble Mylard and illustrated by Juana Martinez Neal. This is a picture book that has been very popular recently. I think it just might have come out this year. It has like just this really wonderful kind of warm and intimate drawing style, and a real big focus of the book. It's obviously talking about fry bread and what an important part, especially of modern Native American culture, that is. And one of the things that this book emphasizes is how there's no one right way to do things. Everyone has different recipes for fry bread. Everyone has different traditions associated with it. Not every Native American family looks the same, and I just think this was a really, really lovely book. Yeah, definitely recommend it. Number 5 is, what is the next book you plan on reading by a Native author? And I think right now, I think that's going to be Indian No More by Charlene Willie McManus with Tracy Sorrell. I talked about this book in my IndigAthon TBR, and I'm really looking forward to getting to it. This is a middle grade novel that is about a main character she's a young girl who is part of the Umpqua tribe, and at the beginning of the book, the federal government of the United States rules that her tribe no longer exists, that they are not a federally recognized tribe anymore. And so her and her family get essentially kicked off. They're forced from their homeland, and so it's about our main character Regina trying to adapt to her new neighborhood and school, and dealing with, I think, racism and also holding on to her culture. I feel like this is going to be a very important book, and yeah, definitely looking forward to picking that one up this month, and this probably will be my next pick by a Native author. And finally, number 6 is, are there any 2020 releases that you still want to get to? And yes, I actually do have one. I really, really want to get to Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This book has been all over the internet. It's been getting so much positive attention, and I'm really excited. I actually was not sure I was going to pick this one up, just because I wasn't the biggest fan of Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. I much preferred her middle grade novel that I read, so I was just wondering if maybe her adult stories don't really work for me like they do for other people, but I wasn't sure because I hadn't really heard a lot about what this book actually was about or what specific things people liked about it, and then I saw Samantha Ceballos did a review on this book, and that sold me on it. I am so excited about this book. So it's a fantasy novel that is based on pre-Columbian mythology and folklore, I believe, and just, I'm gonna link Samantha's review down below because it just totally convinced me. Just the way she talks about the characters and the themes and just like the things that this book accomplishes have me very excited. I'm trying to hold out for when the UK paperback edition comes out in January, but we'll see. I'm like very excited for this one, so I might cave and buy the hardcover. I don't know. Okay, everybody, so that was the IndigAthon book tag. At the time that this video is going up, IndigAthon is still happening. It's for the whole month of November. I will link all of the information on the readathon in the description. I will also tag a few people who I know are participating in IndigAthon if you guys would like to do this. Please comment down below and let me know one of your favorite books by an Indigenous author. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!